Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Page 4. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge jonam la janju bardo dane gyapsuj Ave jinzo gebe sonam ge dola benjir sanye rubarayisho Sanye joda zoge jonam la janju bardo dane gyapsuj Dage jinzo gebe sonam Dola benjir sanye rubarayisho Sanye joda zoge jonam la janju bardo dane gyapsuj Dage jinzo gebe sonam ge dola benjir sanye rubarayisho. Next page. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om yed prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. Meaning of the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Page 31. Harsutha mantra. Tetha om gade gate paragate parasam gate bodhiswaha tyatha om gate gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, in the morning we did the prostration, and I explained about the benefit of prostration, why we are doing this and so forth. I missed to explain the how is it done. This is what we did not discuss. And for the prostrations, in fact, this week we learn what is known as the conventions, which is so important. And the prostration is also part of convention. And then which is correct, which is not correct. And they say if you meet with some the Tibetan, they say the people who are very traditionalist, they may say, oh, don't do this, if you do this, then this is wrong, this is how you should do. So all these things are there. But in reality, it's just convention. For example, in India, there are various versions. For example, like the younger ones, they touch the feet of the elders, the teachers, and so forth. This is one. So basically the tradition in Tibet, it came from India. Likewise, in the West also, you have your own culture of showing respect, prostration. Prostration is expressing respect, showing respect. And in the Indian style, again, another version where you just lie down flat on the ground, and as an indication of your total acceptance, or some people call it surrender, whatever. And Tibetans also, they are the two forms. One is the short, the length prostration. Other one is full length prostration. Short length prostration, how we do the 3 times before we start the teaching. This is the short length, where you touch your, let's say, you just like what's the English word? You may not stretch your body full, be on the flat on the floor, but simply more like bend. And we do it, okay, in a way it's kneeling. Put your knees down, kneeling, and then put your 2 palms on the floor and touch your forehead. So this is the short length prostration. And full length prostration is where the idea is that the 2 palms, the 2 knees, and the forehead, 5 spots, touch. So this is what and then while you do that, they say the 2 hands with the 2 thumbs inside, pressed together inside, and then we touch it like this. So this is the standard way. And people describe so let me not go into too detail. Just the idea is that this is symbolic of the jewel. The jewel, if you look at the Aryavalokiteshvara, the 4-armed Aryavalokiteshvara, or the paintings or statues, you see that Aryavalokiteshvara is holding a jewel, a gem in his hand. This gem is symbolic of the universal compassion of Boddhicitta. This gem is symbolic of the universal compassion. Gem means very precious. And the compassion, and particularly compassion in its highest form, labeled as Boddhicitta. You're going to learn this. Bodhicitta is extremely full of wisdom and full of compassion. Both elements are intact there in this. So when you have the compassion, or when you have the Bodhicitta, that makes you be of extreme benefit for so many people. Look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama. People crave to see him. Just they come all the way from the different parts of the world. And I know that how many of you joined that last Nalanda, the audience for the Nalanda students? Okay, there are several of you who joined. So people come all the way just to have the glance of His Holiness's face, because of His compassion. It attracts, and people are benefited. And when they see His Holiness, they cry. Why they're crying? It's because they never felt this feeling of extreme tenderness in their life. And of course, during their childhood with their parents, they felt it. But after age 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, after becoming adult, then you have been into so much of, say, competition, stress, and so on and so forth. Suddenly you see somebody who's like a extremely compassionate figure, and you could feel that inside, and it makes you cry. Okay, so this is where you have the gem is what? The gem is to benefit others. Valuable for many others. So compassion, bodhicitta, this is one which makes you valuable for all the beings. Therefore, this gem is symbolic of bodhicitta, and then with this hand, this is symbolic of the bodhicitta, and inside is hollow. Hollow is symbolic of emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness. So the outside is the gem, symbolic of bodhicitta. Inside is hollow. Hollow means empty, emptiness of objective existence, emptiness. So inside symbolizes the wisdom of emptiness, and outside symbolizes the bodhicitta, the altruistic bodhicitta, combined together and gives you the two wings to cross the ocean of samsara and to reach to the state of ultimate happiness for yourself and for all the beings. So this is the idea. And then the hand gesture, you touch it on 4 spots. Say 4 spots or 3 spots, up to you. If 4 spots, the crown, then the forehead, throat, and the heart. If 4 spots. So why is 4 spots? Crown is considered very important because when you become enlightened, when you become a Buddha, when your seed of Buddha nature becomes manifest completely, then you perform the deeds for the beings, infinite beings, and major, say the beneficial deeds that you perform, infinite deeds that you perform for the beings that are done through crown. So crown plays a very important role, and that is extremely, the important part of you becoming Buddha. Number 1, crown. So you are reminded of, say that, okay, I have to attain the crown of the Buddha. Then the forehead. Again, forehead is very important for the reason that with the forehead, when you become a Buddha, you then empower other bodhisattvas to become Buddha through your forehead. All the blessings, empowerments are done through the rays emitted from your forehead. This is. Then the throat. Number 3 is the throat. Throat is considered very important for the reason that finally what helps us is that the saying, which is more beneficial? I say, if somebody is to help you, there are 3 ways of helping. One, on the let's say, okay, broadly speaking, 2 ways. One is by physically performing miracles, right? For example, like, say here, I'm sitting here, and suddenly I levitate 2 feet up in the sky, then I sit there, right? So there's going to be jam-packed, there's a traffic jam everywhere around Thosamling, right? And news, the what? BBC, CNN, and then all the media will cover it, right? Oh, he levitated 2 feet high, right? And the people will just come to have the blessings. And these people, and then when they leave, what they take with them? Wow, nothing is left. There's nothing to take away. Just wow. That's it. And wow will not make them levitate. Right? They'll go. In other words, they go empty-handed. Whereas, say, you talk about compassion. Just see how to talk nicely to your mother. Right? You take this message with you. At home, you'll talk nicely to your mother. Mother's very happy. This is magic. You're getting it? Say, of the two wishes, which do you think, in an ordinary sense, which do you think is that you'll be more fascinated about, or that you'll be more happy about? Say, somebody perform a miracle in front of you, or somebody giving you good advice. Laura? Good advice, right? So even if somebody flies, Laura will not care. Right? So this is wise. This is wise. So of all the activities, of all the miracles performed by the Buddha, the real miracle is the miracle of speech. Buddha's speech. You getting it? Speech. Wise people will revere the Buddha for the excellent teachings, not for the Buddha's ability to fly. Right? And the Buddha, indeed, in his life, he performed a lot of physical miracles. But the 1st century AD great Indian master, who was that? We mentioned his name. Arya Nagarjuna. You're getting it? He is revered as the second Buddha in the realm of the Mahayana tradition. Be it Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition, he is revered as the second Buddha, Arya Nagarjuna. Read any of his books, he never praised the Buddha Shakyamuni for having performed physical miracles. He always praised the Buddha Shakyamuni for his speech of the wisdom. You're getting it? So the people who admire the concepts, the teachings, these are the wise people. These are mature people. People who are just fascinated by physical appearance, physical miracles, they are immature people. But sometimes the miracles are also required. Right? So with a physical miracle, then people are drawn, and then you give the teachings. People will be benefited. Okay. So the speech, crown, forehead, throat. That's the speech. That I may attain the speech of the Buddhas to benefit all the beings. And then finally, the heart. Heart is the spot. Heart is the spot where your mind, the true ultimate residence of your mind while you're still alive is your heart. Heart here, you have the biological heart, and there's a spot which is the heart, the spot of the heart chakra. So that's a place where there's a true residence of your mind. But the mind travels everywhere. For example, let's say that I'm sure that many of you travel to different places, right? But where is your main base? Some of you may identify Dharamsala as your main base. Some of you identify America as your main base, but you travel all the way to different places. But if your main base, for your mind, the main base is the heart. Okay, so meaning that when the mind becomes so pure, it becomes pure at that spot. At the spot. So heart plays a very important role to that. Is a reminder, or also is the psychophysical gesture to activate the seat of the mind at your heart, that the real purification, true nature of the mind manifest. So 4 spots. Or you want to do 3, crown or forehead, you choose one of the 2. Then the throat and the heart. Why 3? Because body, speech and mind. Crown or the forehead, one of these 2 is for the body, that my body be transformed into the Buddha's body. And then the speech be transformed into Buddha's speech. And the heart, the mind, transforms into the Buddha's mind. So you touch the 3 spots, or you touch the 4 spots. That's up to you. And there is no hard and fast rule to say one is correct or this is correct. And then in say Chinese tradition, you will kneel down. You first kneel down. You put your 2 palms there. You touch. You don't really get up. So you do it like this. Korean same. Korean saying. So, which is correct? Which is wrong? All are correct. Finally, these have to activate your sense of respect. You're getting it? Even just folding your hands, even that is a prostration. It's a form of prostration. Prostration has many versions. So when you cannot physically do that, even simply putting hands together, bowing, physically bowing, even that is prostration. Prostration may not necessarily, you have to have your forehead down there. As long as the sense of respect is activated, that's fine. Okay, good. So next, I like to quickly, of course there are a series of points to be covered. I'd like to quickly share with you, particularly for, let's say, for the morning practices, where what we're trying to do is that we are trying to say that we are learning how to design your lifelong practice to give a meaning to your own life, to give the greatest meaning to your life. So we talked about the immediate plan and the long-term plan. So long-term plan means something which will reap the benefit after a long time, and in a more like a more reliable, permanent benefit. And so for that matter, we see that to give a summary or synopsis of what you're going to cover is that number one, we don't want suffering. And suffering is a result of creating pains on others. And for the time being, we just believe in it. And gradually, we must come to know how it works. Creating pain on others, it leaves the imprint in your mind that you suffer. You're getting it? And we also want happiness. Happiness comes about giving happiness to others. As simple as that. And the miseries is by giving pains on others, giving miseries to others. So how do you stop the miseries? Stopping creating miseries on others, stopping harming others. This is known as, in a loose sense, is known as renunciation. Renouncing to harm others. You getting it? So in the Buddhist practice, one practice which is so important is renunciation. Renunciation doesn't mean that you renounce your happiness, you renounce your good food, you renounce your cars. Many people think that Buddhism is self-denial because there's so much emphasis on renunciation. This is a wrong understanding. Renunciation, the true meaning of renunciation is renounce your miseries. And what's the cause of miseries? Creating pains on others, harming others. So renounce your miseries and renounce your harming others. That is the renunciation. Renouncing your miseries and by renouncing causing harm on others. This is a very comprehensive understanding. Then later on, you will come to know renounce attachment, renounce anger, renounce self-grasping ignorance, affliction, and so forth. This will come as renouncing the causal factors for your miseries. Okay. As of now, what we learn is that number one is renunciation. Buddhism, there are four salient features of Buddhism. One is renunciation. Why renunciation? Because we don't want suffering. Then we have to learn how to renounce your suffering by renouncing the causes of suffering. And what is the cause of suffering? Predominantly harming others. So how to renounce harming others, right? Say in our life, just no matter what, try to stop harming others. You're getting it? Try to stop harming others. Okay. So no matter what, right? Always try not to slide down into being cunning, being rude, right? Okay. Sometimes they say there are two things where you are being so cunning, right? Doing everything to destroy the other side. These are actually in long run is destroying yourself in long run. So first try to stop all these things. For example, like fighting with your parents, unnecessarily creating problems on your parents, unnecessary creating problems on your immediate family members, right? Fighting, causing problem, complaining. These are all just unnecessary. These are unnecessarily, creating causes for your own miseries. Stop that. Renounce that. Number 2, because that you want the maximum happiness. So since this morning, we're talking about the maximum happiness. Since that we all want maximum happiness, the secret of the happiness is by giving happiness to others, benefiting others, being kind to others. This is the secret of happiness. So for that, a second practice is a Boddhicitta. Boddhicitta, which is to reach out to others. And what is that? That is what for we are here. We're going to learn what is Boddhicitta, how to practice this. We're going to learn here. Number 2. Now we see that, how many left now? Hey, how many left? I said 4, 2 are gone. 2 more left, right? Okay. The renunciation is may. You're getting it? First, let me quickly give the meaning of renunciation. Renunciation means aspiration to renounce your miseries and the causes of miseries. Let me repeat it. Renunciation is the aspiration to renounce your miseries and the causes of miseries. Number 1. What is altruism or bodhicitta? Bodhicitta is the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And when you say Buddha, don't think of Buddhism. You getting it? Buddha means fully awakened one. Fully awakened one. So the aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That is Boddhicitta. You getting it? So now we have number 3 and number 4. Do you see one thing common between the first 2 points? 1 and 2? Both are aspirations. You're getting it? So aspirations, don't keep it aspirations all the time. You're getting it? Yes, may I complete PhD. May I complete PhD, right? Aspiration. What should we do? Take steps. You're getting it? Let it be materialized. Let it be materialized. You're getting it? Okay. So may my miseries go away. May I not harm others. But you say may, but you have to do something, right? And may I have the maximum happiness. But do something. What should I do? Remove the mental dirt. You're getting it? Remove the mental dirt and the fearlessness, that your miseries become zero. The seed is within you. Just remove the dirt. The gold is within you. The maximum happiness is within you. Remove the dirt, right? So dirt, there are 2 kinds. What are they? Afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations, right? And what actually removes the dirt is the wisdom of emptiness. What actually removes the dirt is the wisdom of emptiness. And we also look, so we are being extremely ambitious within these 7 days. Within 7 days we are thinking of doing bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, everything, right? And then if you have some friends at the monastic universities where the monks study for like whole 5, 6, 10 years wisdom of emptiness, don't tell them that I studied wisdom of emptiness in 1 week, right? Either they may laugh at you or they may be envious of you, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is that, what actually cleanses the mental defilements, removes the mental defilements, is for example, say, if you're suffering from tuberculosis, TB, then what do you need to do? Anyone? Hey, by the way, how many of you suffered from tuberculosis in your life? 1, and myself 2. Anyone else? No, only 2. Okay, so you have no experience. Same, you have to make sure that you eat well. You have to make sure that you rest well. What else should be done? Any idea? Yes, Nicola? Take medicines, right? Isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, these medicines you take. Alongside, the food should not be neglected. Alongside sleep and all these things should not be neglected. All these are required, but what actually removes the bacteria is the medicines. You're getting it? Medicines. Likewise, so all the other practices are required, but then what actually removes mental dirt is the wisdom of emptiness. Wisdom of emptiness. So, to materialize these two aspirations, which two aspirations? Renunciation and Boddhicitta. To materialize the aspiration, the two aspirations, we have to do something. That is the wisdom of emptiness. We have to remove the mental defilements. What removes the mental defilements is the wisdom of emptiness. You getting it? Number 3. So point 3 done. Next is that, okay, say if you are to say finish your, I don't want to say PhD all the time. There's some people who are going through tension of PhD, right? Okay, anyone going through tension of PhD? Huh? Dwala? Yes. Okay, I don't want to talk, it builds up her tension, right? Okay, let's say that you have work, you get a work contract, which pays you X amount of money, and you can finish it in generally it takes like 10 months, and if you are say very effective, you can complete that in 2 months. What do you prefer? In 2 months you get X amount of, huge amount of $10 million, or it takes like they say 10 months or 2 months. Which do you prefer? 2 months. 2 months, $10 million. $10 million. Into another 5 is 10 and 5 is 50, right? 50 are the $1 million. So within the same time, say 10 months, either you get $50 million or $2 million, right? So that's up to you, which means that you want to make more, be more efficient. To make efficiency, okay, efficiency, keep that aside for the time being. Let's say that this wisdom is what actually removes the mental defilements. This wisdom should have 2 qualities. You remember what we discussed this morning? This wisdom is the light. I don't want to bring too much of, metaphorically, where I can give metaphors, but not always talk poetically, right? Because people get confused. Let's say that in dark, you cannot, in total dark, you cannot read books. To read books, you need the light. So this light should have 2 qualities. What are they? Brightness and steadiness. This light should have 2 qualities. One, that if the light is too feeble, it doesn't help you to read the books. And if it is very flickery, it will strain your eyes. So it has to be very bright and very steady. So the wisdom, when we talk about wisdom, generally speaking, when we speak about the wisdom, we talk about the brightness. We talk about the sharpness of intelligence, the ability to penetrate the ontological reality more deeply. And alongside, we require the wisdom to also to be steady. So we need meditation to build the steadiness of your mind. You getting it? So first one is renunciation. Number 2 is bodhicitta. Number 3 is wisdom emptiness, and number 4 is this stability meditation, shamatha meditation, stability meditation. These 4, and then you want to expedite the path. You want to expedite it. Then we add tantra. To expedite it. To expedite it, we require tantra. But some people, right, say to cook the food. You want to cook the food very slow or same quality of the food. You want it quicker, or you don't mind waiting for like 10 hours. Quicker is better, right? So for the quicker, say, what is required? The skill to cook food very quickly, like multitasking, right? Some people, they take too long for cooking food. As for a small food, two-person food, like 2 hours, right? Whereas some people, within half an hour, you cook delicious food and eat, watch the dishes finish within half an hour. And some people, even just cooking take like 2 hours, right? Very slow. Everything, okay, first you chop and then later on, I have to boil water, right? And then, after doing this, then you put on the kettle. So the water, and till the boil, you sit like this. Then the water boils, then you, okay, I have to wash the vegetables. While boiling the water, you chop tomato and wash it. Multitasking, right? Some people, they do everything very sequentially, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is that expediting the path is also there. So that one, to expedite your cooking, you should have the cooking materials. You're getting it? Some people, they without cooking materials, they want to expedite cooking. You understand what I'm saying? Without cooking materials, right? Oh, I want to go very fast, right? In other words, without renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, shamatha, they want to do tantra, right? This is a disaster. You're getting it? And there are some teachers who also encourage you like this. Don't fall in the trap of deception. You're getting it? Your life is so precious. Don't waste your life like this. Go into the hands of her. So say it's so enticing. Oh, tantra, shortcut, cut through, all these powerful words are there. You may feel that I'm so lucky, right? In the end, as you grow older, finally you remain the same angry, the person with indulgence, angry, no change within you. This is self-deception. You're getting it? Don't fall prey in the hands of the deception. This is so important. Be very careful. Where you get these 4 things, renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, and the shamatha, very good. Go for it. So anybody who jumps into tantra, don't go there. You're getting it? And who are these people? Particularly some students of these teachers. They will try to persuade you. Oh, you must follow this teacher, you must do this, do that, and so forth. These people, the students of these people, who themselves are not really not informed at all about the real dharma, and then they will make you feel that, oh, I have to go follow this. If I don't follow this, I'm incomplete. So they are already high level. They are not high level actually, right? So picture of pizza is not a pizza. Don't forget it. Right? Some people, they bring the picture of pizza. Look, this is a pizza. This is made in Italy. Right? Right? Made in Italy pizza. This is a picture of a pizza. It's no real pizza. And you get deceived. Right? Picture of pizza. Appearance-wise, it looks very much like the real pizza. So don't fall prey in the hands of that deception. In other words, don't go into tantra directly. You're getting it? You must have some experience of renunciation, some experience of bodhicitta, some experience of emptiness, some experience of shamatha. 4 points. Once you have these 4, then say you will be the one to decide, and even your teachers will really encourage you. Okay, now you are the right person to go in this direction. So till that point, don't jump. Simply because others jumping doesn't mean that you have to jump. You're getting it? Okay, good. So with this in mind, the next point is the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. What the 4 points? What's the first one? 4 points that we discussed. Say, what's the first one? Renunciation. Renunciation. So what is the meaning of renunciation in simple words? Aspiration to renounce your miseries and the causes of the miseries. And cause of miseries primarily harming others. Renouncing harming others. You getting it? Okay. It's because of this. Look, what I said. How many points I said? Number 1, renunciation. Number 2, bodhicitta. Number 3, wisdom and emptiness. Number 4, Shamatha. You getting it? Okay, and then you want to add later on the Tantra. Okay, there we see that this is so well reflected in what the Buddha taught in one verse. Buddha summarized his teaching in one verse. He said, commit no evils. Commit no evils. Number 2, accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. Number 1, commit no evils. Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. Tame your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Just 4 lines. The Buddha summarized the whole teaching. Okay, let me repeat it. Commit no evils. Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. Tame your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Commit no evils. Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. Tame your mind. Tame your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. You getting it? Okay, now let me explain this. How many of you understood this? Oh, it doesn't require any explanation. Reasons? Understood it. Yes, it's self-explanatory, but there are hidden meanings there. You getting it? Hidden meanings there. First, commit no evils. Why? You don't want suffering. You don't want suffering? Renounce evil thoughts, speech, and actions. Renounce all evils. Renounce evils, meaning harming others. Don't stop harming others. This is the first line is renunciation. What is the second line? Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. You want happiness, infinite happiness. Happiness is the result of virtues. Accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. And how can I accumulate so much virtue? Simple. Be compassionate. Where you have compassion, where you have Boddhicitta, virtues accumulate every single moment. Effortlessly virtues are accumulated. It is like depositing money in the bank. The bank which gives you what? Good interest, right? Where you don't have to really work hard. Just stay there. Money is constantly being multiplied. So likewise, have the Boddhicitta. Your virtues are multiplied every moment without any effort. Effortlessly your virtues are multiplied. This is the meaning of accumulate as great wealth of virtues as possible. So this is about the number 2. Second line is about the Boddhicitta. Okay, so number 1 and number 2, both are aspirations. How to materialize it? Tame your mind. Number 3, right? Tame your mind. Number 3, tame your mind. Cognitively undo your cognitive errors. Seeing things as objectively real. Undo that cognitive error by taming your mind to see things cognitively correctly. So to see things as they are. You're getting it? So third line is the wisdom of emptiness. Tame your mind. These things will be materialized through cultivating wisdom, which is how you have to build within. You can't expect from outside. You have to study, reflect, meditate. So these 3 require training. Tame your mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. You getting it? So we see that whatever we said, 4 points are all contained in this summary, the teaching, which the Buddha himself summarized all his teachings into just 1 verse. Okay, what's the first one of the 4? Renunciation. Okay, so for the renunciation, now we go into more detail. Because without the renunciation, if we jump into Boddhicitta, it does not make any sense to us. So first we have to go into renunciation. For the renunciation, the Buddha taught what is known as the 4 seals. The 4 seals, S-E-A-L-S, seals. The 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. The 4 seals. Okay. So before we go into what these four seals are, you may be wondering why these teachings, just 4 lines, why these 4 lines are referred to as seals. Seals. Okay, let's say that if there's a house, a building, which is sealed by the government, what does it mean by that? Anyone? Kamalji, what does it mean by that? Huh? You cannot enter, you cannot touch this building. Okay, you're inside? Oh, it's sealed. Okay. Okay, most likely you are out. Yeah, if the government is really rude government, then they will seal even out you are in, right? Okay, sealed means that you are not supposed to alter whatever is in this, don't touch it. You're getting it? So these four lines, the Buddha metaphorically called these as the seals. Why seals? Anybody, right? Okay. Is it correct that I can, is it alright that I make one statement and you say that this is okay or not okay, right? That's up to you. In most of the cases, ordinary people like us, for all of us, if you are hungry, you have to eat food, right? If you are hungry, you have to eat food. Is it correct statement or not correct statement? Huh? Generally correct. You're getting it? If you are a highly enlightened being, then different story. You can fly, you're exception. Otherwise, for people, ordinary people like us, you and me, right? We have to eat something. How many had your lunch? Raise hands. How many do not have lunch? Raise hands. The special ones? No one, right? Okay. So the point is that I made the statement. This statement holds true. This statement holds true to all the human beings on the planet Earth, unless until you are a very special one. Otherwise it holds true. So it is like sealed. You cannot, if you're hungry, oh no, I'll just, take the air and then my hunger will go away. No. If you are fasting, that's a different story. Otherwise, with hunger you have to eat food. So likewise, Buddha made these 4 statements. And these 4 statements are sealed in ways that anybody who wants to be freed from suffering, you have to practice these 4 lines. No exception, whether you're male or female, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. If you want the total freedom, you have to practice these 4 lines. If you don't practice these 4 lines, no freedom. This is the reality, right? This is the reality the Buddha discovered. He did not invent this. If before the Buddha Shakyamuni came, if somebody wants to be liberated, one has to practice these 4 lines. If you don't practice the 4 lines, we can't expect freedom. You're getting it? Okay. I say, if you are bothered by the dream, if you want to be freed from the dream, is it that you have to wake up? This is the only way. You agree? How many agree with me? Raise hands. If you're bothered by the dream, then you have to wake up. This is the only way. You agree? Raise hands. Good. I'm a Buddhist, right? So, this holds true for a Buddhist. For non-Buddhist, you don't wake up. Even if you're bothered by a dream, there's some other way. No, this is not about Buddhist, not Buddhist. This is not about male, female. You're getting it? It's true across the humanity, across the board of sentient beings. It holds true to everyone. So, these 4 seals, these are the 4 seals which the Buddha discovered. He did not invent. You're getting it? These are 4 seals which existed where the Buddha Shakyamuni was born. In other words, Buddha came on the earth for how many years? 2,500 years. Homo sapiens, how old? 0.3 million years. You're getting it? 0.3 million years. All along the 0.3 million years, these 4 statements hold true. Hold true? It's not about Buddha taught it, not taught it. Even if the Buddha did not teach it, this holds true. You are suffering, you are hungry, you have to eat food. Right? And you're bothered by dream, you have to wake up. There's no other way. So what are the 4 seals? Right? What are the four seals? What are the four teachings? In other four teachings, which the Buddha discovered, he did not invent. And see, if you agree with this, yes, okay, this is exactly what Buddha discovered. It existed. These existed as true way before the Buddha Shakyamuni was born, before 2,500 years ago. The first teaching, or the first of four, all composite things are impermanent. Number one, all composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. Composite. By the way, what is the proper the pronunciation? Composite or composite? Hey, Jean, not sure. Jill, yes. Composite. Okay, the Professor William. Composite. Okay, the Jacob. Huh? Composite. You're getting it? Okay. There are some Indians who have beautiful English. Okay, let's turn to Kamalji. Composite. Up here. Composite. I fully agree. Yes. And your pronunciation is so beautiful. This is amazing. Yeah. Okay. So composite, whatever. Tenzala? Huh? How would you say? Composite. Korean. Okay, good. Okay, Anla. How would you say? Composite. Tenzala, yes. Composite. Okay. So we have both versions. Professor William is not happy. Composite. Okay. Laura? Oh. No, Laura and Professor William, you are totally different. Professor William, how do you say this? How do you say? Composite. And Laura?
I'll say it in my head.
Composite, okay. Good, this doesn't matter, right? Yeah, good. Okay, we have Jane. Jane, tell me.
I would say
composite. Okay. Okay, so which means Laura is more influenced by the British English.
we revolted against these.
Okay, good. Okay, now my version. All composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. Number 2, all contaminated things are suffering nature. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Number 2. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Number 3. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Number 3. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Everything is of the nature of selflessness. What is that? It is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Number 4, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Let me repeat it. I'll repeat this for once more. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Okay, since there are some of the Tibetans here, first one is all composite things are impermanent. Duje thamje mitakpa. Duje thamje mitakpa. And in fact, Pemba Srila, he's expert on this. The Tibetan version. Duje thamje mitakpa. Second one, what is second one in English? All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Sakche thamje dulngelwa. Sakche thamje dulngelwa. Number 2. Number 3. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. In Tibetan, Chue Tamje Dongxing Da Me Ba. Chue Tamje Dongxing Da Me Ba. Then finally, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. In Tibetan, Nyangele Deba Shiva Wo. Nyangele Deba Shiva Wo. Okay, these are 4 lines. Now, what is important for us is that we need to know the meaning of each of these 4 lines. Number 1. Number 2, we also need to know the links. How the first line is linked to the second. How the second line is linked with the first. How the third line is linked with the second. How the fourth line is linked with the third. This link is very important. You getting it? Okay. The first one. All composite things are impermanent, or all composite things are impermanent. All composite or composite, a phenomena which is composed of material parts, such as particles, phenomena which are composed of particles, atoms, or made of temporal parts or physical, what is that? Let's call it, the things which are composed of parts, things which are composed of material parts. Let's say material parts, meaning physical parts, things which are made of material parts and temporal parts. What do you mean by temporal parts? Temporal meaning time. Parts in time. For example, let's say time does not have material parts. Time has parts in a very different way. Say one day has 24 hours. One day is made of 24 segments of time. So these 24 segments of time, they are known as temporal parts. They are not physical material parts. Whereas this flower is made of, let's say if this is the real flower, this flower is made of cells. Cells are made of nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm, chromosomes, and so forth. Right? And chromosome is made of DNA molecules. Hey, DNA molecule made of atoms. You're getting it? Okay, we can go further. Let's stay there. So let's say that this flower is composed of physical material parts. How many agree with me? Raise hands. So from that point of view, this flower is a composite phenomena. And then let's say that our mind does not have physical material parts. But our mind exists in time. Our mind exists in time. It has temporal parts. Mind has temporal parts. Say, when you say that, okay, I was so happy yesterday. When you say I was so happy yesterday, what do you mean by yesterday? 24 hours yesterday. And say the first hour happiness, second hour happiness, third hour happiness is all in mental state, first, second, like 24. So there are 24 temporal segments. Your mind is made of temporal segments, but your body is made of material parts and temporal segments both. In other words, all composite things are made of temporal segments, but for the physical body, it is additionally made by material parts. You're getting it? Material parts, whereas for the mind is made of temporal parts. And you as a person is made of both. You are made of both the mental temporal parts or temporal mental parts and physical material parts. You are made of both, because you are made of body and mind. The body is made of the material parts, and the mind is made of temporal parts. And of course the body is made of temporal plus the material parts. Okay, so that is known as the composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. And particularly in the context of the body, physical body, according to physics, we see that the electrons, they are in constant movement. Oh yeah, by the way, we see that there's one engineer here, one professor here, physics professor, say, is there a theory where, say, the particles, physical particles, they are without movement at all? For example, heat is the manifestation of the movement of the particles. Heat is the manifestation of the movement of the particles, right? And when the movement is so much, heat is generated. So, is there a state where the movement is zero? Huh?
That what absolute zero is supposed to be?
So basically, earlier, the Professor William. Okay. Earlier, I got somewhere I got the information that yes, physics, they accept a state where there's zero movement, no movement. And later on, I read other articles said that no, it's impossible. You getting it? Okay. So all composite, the movement means change. All composite things are change. All composite things are impermanent. Movement means change. Change means impermanent. You getting it? So even physics, with physics, you can understand this. With your mind, physics will not touch your mind, but your mind, if you learn how to see your mind, there are special techniques there to see your own mind. You getting it? There are special techniques, right? And don't ask me what is the technique tomorrow, right? Okay, so it requires a lot of training. So with this training, you can be able to see your own mind. And when you start seeing your mind, you see that your mind is visibly moving like this. So, agita is very gross. Even your mind is very peaceful, still it's moving so fast. From the first moment, like the water, a stream of water flowing uninterruptedly. Okay, this is meaning of all composite things are impermanent. Now, when you talk about impermanence, there are two kinds of impermanence. Gross impermanence and the subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. What is gross impermanence? Gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomena whose continuum ceases. Let me repeat it. Gross impermanence is impermanent phenomena whose continuum stops, whose continuum ceases. You getting it? No. For example, let's say that our youth. So now, let's say okay, say like this girl, the boy there. We see that. Okay, they're young, and now at one point I was also, I think, of course we all have been in the age, right, young, but now we are no more young. The youth has come to stop. Our youth has already stopped, right? Okay. Like 2022 stopped or not stopped? It stopped. When will it come back? It'll never come back. So the continuum of 2022 stopped. That is gross impermanence. What is today? What is the date today? 22nd September. 22nd September 2023. Right? The beautiful morning stopped. Gone. Right? And beautiful sunsets that you observed many years ago stopped. Gone. Right? And for example, my two parents, the continuum of my two parents already stopped, gone. You getting it? This impermanence, this gross impermanence, whose continuum stops. 2023, gross impermanence or subtle impermanence? Gross. How gross? It'll come to an end one day. One day when? December 31st or 30th? 31st of December 2023, the next day 2023 is gone. You're getting it? This gross impermanence. Okay. So we see that there are majority of the impermanent phenomena, they fall under the category of gross impermanence. And there are some impermanent phenomena which does not fall under the category of the gross impermanence. For example, like your mind. Your mind never stops. Although it is impermanent, it never stops. Time changes. It is impermanent, but time never stops. Although physics talk about Big Bang, the starting point of the space and time. Big Bang, 15 billion years ago. 15 billion years ago, the singularity exploded in the form of Big Bang, right? So that is said to be the origin of time and space. But many physicists, they don't agree with this. For example, like Professor Roger Penrose, Nobel laureate, which year he became Nobel laureate? 2021, I think. 2020 or 2021, somewhere he became Nobel laureate. He's from Cambridge or Oxford? Oh no, Americans. Yeah. Laura's more open, right? Actually, the physicists should be more open, right? Sometimes physicists, they are stubborn. Yeah. Okay, not physics. Okay, so anthropologists, they are stubborn. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so what was I saying? Time. Right? The Big Bang, many scientists believe to be the origin of time and space. But many physicists disagree, like Nobel laureate Professor Roger Penrose. He doesn't agree with this. He said that without something before this, there cannot be something randomly coming. So there should be something before this. Okay, so there is a debate amongst the physicists themselves. And from, say, the Buddhist concept, the time is, there's no beginning, there's no end. The time will never stop. Say, 2023 is time or not? 2023 is time or it is not time? It is time. So specific instances of time can come to an end. Time in general cannot come to an end. 2023 is a time. It will come to an end when 2024 comes into existence. You're getting it? A specific instances of time can be impermanent, but time in general is permanent. Not okay, what I'm saying. Specific instances of time can fall under the category of the gross impermanence, but the time in general, while it is impermanent, it falls under the category of it doesn't fall in the category of the gross impermanence, because it exists at all times. You're getting it? Gross impermanence means something that the impermanent phenomena which comes to an end, whose continuum stops, whose continuum ceases. Okay, time is one example. Mind is one example. And let's say that, and your being, the self, it never terminates, but it's not permanent, it is impermanent. Self changes. Change doesn't mean that it will stop. You're getting it? Specific instances of the self can fall under the category of the gross impermanence. For example, like say Dorji of this. Dorji means this life, the being, the person of this life. When the person dies, the self of this person stops. In the specific example of this person stops. But you call I came from past life. I will go to next life. This I never stops, but it is impermanent. It is not permanent. You getting it? Yes, I. But if you say Dorji, then you are confining this I within a short span. For example, I say I live for, let's say, X amount of time. So within that, my stay in Thosamling, right? Dorji in Thosamling is for 1 week, 9 days. 1 day coming, 1 day going. So total 9 days, right? Dorji in Thosamling will cease after 9 days. But it doesn't mean that Dorji will cease. You're getting it? So Dorji will last for 1 life. Dorji in Thosamling lasts for 9 days. Not only Dorji, even each one of you, don't think of staying in Thosamling for long. Right? Your time is for maximum 9 days. Right? So what I'm saying is that, say the impermanent phenomena which can last forever, but they're impermanent, they're changing. Similarly, when something lasts forever doesn't mean it is permanent. Don't forget it. Let me repeat it. Simply because something lasts forever does not mean that it is permanent. Right? Permanent has two connotations. One, how the ordinary people understand something is permanent, and how the scholars, how the learned people understand something is permanent. These two are very different. Ordinary people, how they understand something is permanent is something which lasts forever. Because we talk about the permanent, what is that? Permanent address. Right? So, where's your email? Where is your what? What is your permanent address? Permanent address proof. Right? There's no proof because permanent address doesn't exist. Right? Address is impermanent. Yet, this is how the ordinary people understand permanent as something which is durable, lasting. But for the learned people, permanent means something which doesn't change. That's it. Doesn't change doesn't mean that it should come to an end. You're getting it? Okay. Something let's say that permanent doesn't mean that, okay, for the learned people, permanent means something which exists but doesn't undergo change. And we will discuss more on this. And of course, we are lucky that there are some from NMC 1. NMC. Is there anybody from NMC 1? Where? Huh? Who? She's there. A full NMC 1 or half NMC 1? Full NMC 1 or half? So impermanent. Huh? Huh? Full. Are you full or intermittent fasting? Right? Intermittent NMC 1 or full NMC 1? Full, okay. Yeah, I trust you. Okay. So you can check with NMC 1, NMC 2, NMC 1, 2, 3. Probably those who are new, you can discuss with them. They have many information about these things. Okay, good. So we're talking about the all composite things impermanent. Now what is left? Huh? Everything's nature. The all contaminated things are from nature. Anyone else? Huh? Anyone else? Huh? Yes, I'm glad, right? He's with me, right? So I was just flowing, right? Okay. So we talked about the gross impermanence. Now we're talking about the subtle impermanence. You getting it? This is yet to be covered, and then you are jumping to the next point. What is subtle impermanence? Subtle impermanence is momentariness. Momentariness. right? So gross impermanence may not encompass all impermanent phenomena, but subtle impermanence encompasses all impermanent phenomena. Subtle impermanence is momentariness. All impermanent phenomena should necessarily have momentariness involved. You getting it? Even the gross impermanence should have the subtle impermanence within. Gross impermanence is constituted of subtle impermanence. Say, okay, what is this? Is this gross impermanent or not? The flower. Yes. So let's say it lasts for, let's say, 10 days. Let's say it lasts for 10 days, and I keep it there and on the table for 10 days. Every moment, is it changing or not changing? It lasts for 10 days. Within those 10 days, it has been changing. You getting it? So there's a momentary change happening involved. Momentary change involved within. That is subtle impermanence. And because of this, the gross impermanence is possible. You getting it? If the subtle impermanence is not applicable, then you cannot have the gross impermanence. By the very existence of the gross impermanence, we say that subtle impermanence is involved there. Okay. Now, which means that we also have our body, our mind also have the attribute of the subtle impermanence. Yes? Our body, does it have this subtle impermanence? Huh? Yes? Why? Because it is impermanent phenomena. Whatever is impermanent phenomena should necessarily have subtle impermanence within. You getting it? I have hands. I'm not hands. You agree? You have hands. You are not hands. Likewise, this is not subtle impermanent, but it has subtle impermanence. You getting it? It has subtle impermanence. It is not subtle impermanent. It is gross impermanent, but it has subtle impermanence. I have hands. I'm not hands. You getting it? Okay. Now, with the subtle impermanence means there's something which changes momentarily. And this, how do we, for example, say, okay, look at the pillars here. Look at the 6 pillars. Look at any of the pillar. Look at any of the 6 pillars. See, how is that like? Is that moving? Momentary change or very static? Very static. This is our deception. You're getting it? It is actually moving. On the atomic level, it is moving. Right? It is a composite phenomena. All composite things are impermanent. It is moving momentarily, but our eyes cannot see that. It is because of the limitation of our eyes. It is the defect of our eyes. You get, not because that is permanent, because that our eyes are defective. Our eyes are so weak that it cannot see the subtle impermanence there. Now, and okay, look at the person sitting next to you. Look at the person sitting next to you. Okay. Okay, now do you see that person? You don't look at everybody. Right? Some people are so excited. Right? Look at everybody. Okay, just look at one person. That's good enough. When you look at the person, how did the other person appear to? Like change momentarily or like static? Static. This is our illusion. You are getting it? Whereas if you really see the true nature, that it's nothing but made of atoms, right? Even the skin of the person, the body is made of atoms, and the atoms are constantly moving. Your body temperature minimum 36 degrees centigrade, right? 36, 34 degrees centigrade, which means, say the movement is so fast. The heat is generated. You getting it? The movement is there, but we don't see that with the eyes. If we see that with the eyes, it's very scary. It's very scary. Then everything is moving so fast. It's very scary. Okay, so say the people who go into this journey, they actually spend time to meditate on this, how the self, your body, others, all the composite phenomena, they move so fast. Okay. How do we think about this? How do we meditate on this? Number one, let's say that we plant a tree. We plant a tree in Thosamling in memory of our coming together 2023. After 10 years we come back, we see that there's a huge tree growing. You tell Venerable and Antinzala that no, this tree was not here 10 years ago. Then they will tell you that you planted this, your group planted this. Oh yeah, I do remember it, right? So you see that there was nothing there, and after 10 years there was a 10 feet tall tree there, right? So this 10 feet tall tree is impermanent, yes. Non-existent to existent means change, gross impermanence. At the same time, this tree took 10 years to grow to 10 feet. And on this, is it true that today is 2023, 2033, you are coming back, your group is coming back, and then this poor sapling, oh, it has been 10 years, tomorrow completes 10 years, so I have to shut up, 10 feet tall, poop. No, it's not like this. So how come that it grew to this size? It was non-existent 10 years ago. Suddenly you see 10 feet tall tree. How did it happen? Huh? Anyone? How it happened? Suddenly. Very subtle. Yes, very subtly. Yes. Gradually, subtly. Okay. Can I say that? Say on average, 10 feet means 10 years. 10 feet means every year 1 foot. Right? Every year 1 foot. It's not that, so okay, then 9 years, 11 months, then 29 days falling asleep. Oh, tomorrow is completion 30 years. They're coming. I have to go to 10 feet. No, every year it is growing 1 foot. Every year subtly is growing 1 foot. Then 1 year 1 foot. Which means again for 11 months and 29 days you're sleeping. Suddenly, oh, tomorrow completes 1 year, I have to grow 1 foot. No. Every month is growing 1 inch. 1 year, 12 months. And the 1 foot, 12 inches. So every year 1 inch, grow the 1 inch. Every month, 1 inch growth. Okay. Then every day, 1/30th of an inch growing, right? Every day. Then every hour, 24th of 1/30th of 1 inch. Every hour. So if you look at the clock, wall clock, do you see the hour hand moving? We keep looking at it. Do you see the hour hand moving? How many could see the hour hand moving? Huh? You don't have to look. You know that it's not moving. Right? Some of you are too naive. You look at it. Not naive, being so innocent. Right? He asks us to look, so I look. Right? No, you don't have to look at it. If I look at it, it will not move. In my eyes. Right? In my eyes. Okay. The change that the change that happens within a span of 1 hour, actually the change was happening in 60 minutes. Every minute the change is happening. Do you see the minute hand moving? No. Only if say the clock is really huge, then the minute hand you can see it moving. Now the change that you see happening on the minute by minute level is actually happening within the 60 seconds. You see the second hand moving? Yes. How is that moving? Tick, 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 tick. You see that moving. Okay. So, if this is how this tree has been moving, what Professor William describes as subtly moving that in very subtle way. This is how it moves so fast. Second by second. 1 second is made of 1000 milliseconds, right? 1000 milliseconds. The change that you see in 1 second is actually happening within 1,000 milliseconds. And how fast the milliseconds move? Extremely fast. If you want to see what that is like, experientially. So the knowledge is on two levels. One is intellectual level and the experiential level. You're getting it? So what you're learning here for time is, in most cases, this is intellectual. For some of you, it can be very scary when there's a tinge of fear coming in you, which means that it is being precipitated on the level of the experience. When it comes to experience, then the fear can come. Some very deep sadness can come, or tinge of fear can come, or it can make you little taken aback, give a second thought. This is a very different reality. You're getting it? Okay. So now the point is that to make it very experiential, say your mobile. Almost all of you should have mobile. Mobile, this is a timer. Press the timer or press the stopwatch. Usually what you see is that you see the 1 second split into 100, not 1000 in the mobiles. Or in some cases 1 second split into 10. But nowadays it's very easy. You can just look for the apps, right? To split this second into millisecond. Your eyes cannot catch it. It's so fast. Say the 1 second split into 100, your eyes can catch. But it's so fast that you cannot really register which number is, right? You are seeing some changes happening so fast. So this is how your body is changing. You getting it? How the second split into 100, you press it and see how it moves. This is how your body is changing. Year by year, month by month, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, millisecond by millisecond. This is how our body is changing. How your friends are changing. How the environment is changing. Every composite phenomena, they're changing at that pace. It's very scary. So people first, they intellectually try to get this understanding. Once they intellectually get this understanding, they try to habituate in this practice. Just on their own, sit in a solitude and think about these. And gradually it becomes so visible to the mental consciousness that is as though like your eyes are seeing them. Things are moving so fast. And then you see that so with this, then your mind will be driven towards Dharma very forcefully. Because the Buddha said that of all the footprints of the elephants, the footprint of the elephant is the supreme. Of all the meditations, the meditation on impermanence is supreme. Why the Buddha taught this is that the purpose of meditation is what? To accomplish your goal. To accomplish a very serious goal, you need a sense of urgency. For example, let's say that where lies the problem? So when do you learn in school, when you're preparing for the exams, when do you learn the most? When do you learn the most? When you were closer to this exam or 5 months away from the exam? When do you learn more? I'm closer to this exam. How many of you agree with Sonamla? Okay, Sonamla, senior Sonamla? Same? Okay, how many of you agree with two Sonamlas? Raise hands. Closer to this exam, you learn more, right? Okay. Why? Why closer to the exam, you learn more? Why? Tenzila? Sense of urgency comes. How many agree with Tenzila? Raise hands. Good. So what is sense of urgency? This next question. Let me say that if there is a snake somewhere at the door, right? I may say that, hey, Ben Lau, would you mind removing that snake? Right? If the snake somewhere there, somewhere here, do you think that I will say, Ben Lau, would you mind removing this snake? What will I do? The lady there? Huh? Or handle it myself. No, I'm scared. What do I do? What do I do? I'll jump. You're getting it? Okay. Whereas when I see that somewhere dead at far away, then I may ask somebody, please remove that. I'll not jump. But nearby, I'll jump. Because I get a feeling of urgency. You getting it? Sense of urgency makes things to work very effectively. But sometimes if it's too intense, your mind cannot take it, it can make you go crazy. It can make you go into depression. You're getting it? Sense of urgency too much. Yes, sense of urgency required, but we should have the skill to manage it properly. But the dose of sense of urgency is required. Okay, so this impermanence, with this, a sense of urgency will build up within us to look for meaning of life, right? To look for a real meaning of life. Okay. So otherwise, say, look, what is the indication of the sense? We don't have sense of urgency. Say young people like them, right? When they go into this spiritual path, right? Some elders will come. They've never been into these retreats. They say, hey, Drishti, what are you doing? Sonam, what are you doing? Oh, we have gone to Boddhicitta retreat. What retreat? You're too young, right? Explore the world. Enjoy the world. Retreat you can do when you are 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old. You can do it later, right? Which means that the person doesn't have a sense of urgency. Whether you will see, say this is a Tibetan expression, which says that whether you will see tomorrow first or next life first, we never know. Which of two you will see first? We never know, right? 60 years, 30 years for somebody who's in it. How old are you? 22, 19, right? Somebody 19, somebody 22, whether you will see 60 or not sure. You're getting it? Not sure. Don't think that he has black tongue. Right? Don't say he's a black tongue, right? This is reality. We never know. So those people who said, oh, you can do these retreats when you are 60. What 60? We never know whether you will reach 60, right? Why not do it right now? But meaningful things, do it right now. The bad things, if I told you to do something, delay it. Right? You don't have to do it. First of all, don't try not to do it then. If I told you to do something, delay it. Good things, do it right now. Right? Okay. So with this sense of urgency, you will get a sense of urgency. Okay. Then with the impermanence, say that with this impermanence, it moves so fast. Now can you imagine that with this reason, we come to deduce that our body, our mind, whole existence is moving so fast. At least intellectually, how many of you understood? Raise hands. Good. It moves so fast. It moves so fast. Then it is like you in a train station. Unknown person picked you up and throws you into a very fast moving train. Are you happy or not happy? Hey, somebody picked you up, right? A stranger picked you up and throws you into a very fast moving train. Are you happy or not happy? Not happy. Why not? You're scared. And if the train is moving slow, you will jump. If the train is moving so fast, you cannot even jump. And the faster the train moves, more the urgency, more the fear. Why? Why fear? Anyone? Why fear? Huh? Raise hands. Anyone? Why fear? Yes, the lady there. We don't know where this train is taking you. Your name? Niha. Mikal. Okay, how many agree with Mikal? We don't know where this train is taking us. And faster it moves, more fear. Raise hands. Yes, we don't know where you are moving. If it's moving slow, you don't mind, right? You have some degree of control. You can jump, right? You can jump. But if it moves so fast, you cannot jump. And then you just have to wait for the unknown. You getting it? Okay. Now, where is this train taking me? This is the question. You getting it? Where is this train taking? Who decides where the train takes you? Who decides? Hey, Dwala. The driver decides where you are taken, right? Okay, how many agree with Dwala? Raise hands. Good.
If the driver is a mom, don't worry. She'll take you to a picnic spot. If the driver is a terrorist, it's very scary. He'll take you to a slaughterhouse. Faster it moves, more the fear. In our case, that we are moving so fast. Millisecond by millisecond, our body is moving so fast. Our mind is moving so fast towards death. Now, what's the outcome? What's the future? What's the result? Right? It depends on the train driver. In our case, the train driver is your own mind, your mind. And although your mind is not the terrorist, but your mind is like a good driver under the dictate of the terrorist, true terrorist. Which are true terrorists? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. So your mind, which is like the driver, is under the dictate of the true terrorists. And these true terrorists only take us to the slaughterhouse, more miseries. What is the second seal? Hey, when I say what next, you jump to second seal. Now what is the second seal? You don't have anything to say. What's the second seal? All contaminated things are of suffering nature. From the first seal, you come to know that when you are dictated by the two demons, the driver, like the two demons, contaminated, the worst of which is self-grasping ignorance. When your mind is dictated by the contamination, the worst of which is self-grasping ignorance, it will only take you to miseries. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Right? Okay, next question. All contaminated things. Contaminated. Contamination. Contamination contaminates. What is contamination? Afflictions. Afflictions are referred to as contamination. What is contaminated by afflictions are known as contaminated. Our body is contaminated. Our mind is contaminated. And particularly worst of the affliction is the self-grasping ignorance. This is the worst of the affliction. As long as we are contaminated by the self-grasping ignorance and its offshoots, we'll only experience miseries, sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, bewilderment, confusion. All these miseries we suffer as long as we are under the sway of the contaminations. Okay, miseries like what? As I said before, experientially speaking, right? Experientially speaking, say we can easily be lured by other people. But with young people, when you go into spirituality, some elders, they will say, what are you doing? You can do this later, right? It's all deception, right? A life, when by say your mind, which is full of energy. Say, believe it or not, when I was in my 30s, I can give teachings for like 8, 9, 10 hours very easily. Now in my 50s, I could feel the tiredness. I could feel that. So the body and your mind is so very closely connected. As the body is aging, then your mind, it loses the energy. So your mind is full of energy because of your physical youth. Why not we use this energy towards something very meaningful? What's meaningful? As you go closer, as you age, 40, 50, right? As you age, then you say okay, what I did in the past, retreats, the more intensive studies, I did that. Now I see that I'm growing. I feel the happiness growing within me. I become more confident. I can manage my emotions. I become more competent, confident, happy, more composed. You will see that. When you feel that, this is so beautiful. Otherwise, your youth, you just go into indulgence. And then you grow older, nothing is left there. Only old age is left. And then you regret, or then you miss your youth. So, another mark of a wise people from unwise people is that as you grow older, you become happier. This is mark of being a mature, civilized person. Wise person. As you grow older, you miss your youth. Oh, when I'm younger, I used to be like this, I used to be like this, I used to do this, that, and so forth. If you miss the youth, and you feel more and more lonely, which means that you wasted your youth. Whereas as you grow older, instead of feeling lonely, instead of missing the youth, you feel so happy who you are now, that you have learned so much, you've experienced so much of the reality, compassion, the dreamlike nature, that you become very experienced, you become extremely confident, you see that you're very composed. That is a wise person. You're getting it? And this will not happen overnight. This will happen through years of study, reflection, and meditation. You're getting it? So, say that with this, let's say that we talk about life as though like, yes, life is extremely precious. If you are wise to give a meaning to the life, whereas life is miserable if you don't know how to give a meaning to this life. For example, let's say we talk about birthday parties, we talk about the ceremonies, festivities, and so forth, all the merriments, birthday parties, and Christmas, or whatever, right? We talk about these things, family gatherings, and so forth. And believe it or not, one moment of tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past merriments, past moments of joy. One moment is good enough. For example, of all these many years, you went to a birthday party, family gathering, this party, that party, and so forth, festivals, merriments, celebrations, so forth. And then one day, you lose somebody who is very extremely close to you. Whole life is shattered. You are getting it? All what experienced in the past, the merriments, joy, and so forth, they turn out to be so shallow, meaningless, and hollow when you see the loss of the near and dear ones. And when you see that, you are dying. Your whole life is shattered for you. One moment of such a tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past, what we call as enjoyments. These are just the past memories which you realize are so shallow. This is the meaning of all contaminated things are suffering nature. And if you think of this, the pain of this life is so much. Is there a way out? This is the next question. You start to feel the heaviness, right? Okay. Pain. Is there a way out? This is the next question. Is the way out? What's your answer? Yes. How? Anyone? How? Raise hands. How? Right? Here? By generating Boddhicitta and by generating the wisdom of emptiness. Right? Okay. So, in the first place, before we jump into the technicalities, we can say that by uncovering your treasure of happiness, uncovering the treasure of happiness, eternal happiness. How to uncover that? How to uncover this treasure within? By removing the mental defilements, remove the mental obscurations. How to remove the mental obscurations? By applying the correct remedies. What are the remedies? The wisdom of emptiness and the Boddhicitta. You're getting it? So this is the meaning of life. There's a way out. There's a way out. Wisdom of emptiness driven by the force of Boddhicitta. This is the way out. What's the third seal? What is the third seal? Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. You're getting it? This is the way out. The point is that, oh, I'm so tired to listen to this, so heavy, right? All composite things impermanent, all contaminated suffering nature. And the one moment of treasure is good enough to nullify all the past merriments or wonders, indulgence, or all these things. Now the life is so shallow, hollow, meaningless, gloomy. Is there a way out? Yes, there is a way out. Track the cause of these miseries. Cause of misery is ignorance. How to get rid of this ignorance? Introduce counterforce. What's the counterforce? The wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? What's the wisdom of emptiness? Wisdom? What's wisdom? Wisdom is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The third seal. What is the third seal? That everything is of the nature of emptiness, selflessness. So this is a way out. You're getting, if you know the link, it's so beautiful, it's so powerful. If you know the link between how the third seal is connected with the second, how the second seal is connected with the first. You're getting it? Wisdom of emptiness. Okay. What is wisdom of emptiness? This next question, right? So this we'll study. If you get the wisdom of emptiness, emptiness is to discover that things are empty of objective reality. In simple terms, things are like dream, not real, empty of being real. This is the point. So what's the benefit? What benefit we get out of this? It is like waking up. You wake up, what's the benefit? Wake up from the dream, what's the benefit? All the miseries in the dream will stop. How many agree with me? What's the benefit of waking up from the dream? All your miseries in the dream will stop when you wake up. You agree? Resents. Good. So what is the fourth seal? Transcending sorrow. You wake up from the unconventional dream. You're getting it? Wake up from the conventional dream. You're freed from all the miseries of conventional dream. And the dream is of two kinds. Conventional dream and unconventional dream. We wake up from the conventional dream every day, but we have never woken up from the unconventional dream. Is there anybody who has woken up from the unconventional dream? Right? If there is somebody who has woken up from unconventional dream, 100% sure you will not come to this retreat. If you still come, it is to check on me. How good he is teaching. You're getting it? What he is teaching, is it correct or not? You come to check on me. Otherwise you will not come. You're getting it? Okay. So, the point is that what is the unconventional dream? From the conventional dream, we wake up every day. What is the unconventional dream? What's happening right now? That is the unconventional dream. We have never woken up from this unconventional dream. You getting it? We have never woken up from this unconventional dream. Only if we wake up from this unconventional dream, all the miseries happening on the level of the unconventional dream will stop. Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, all will stop the moment you wake up from the unconventional dream. So where all the miseries, you will transcend. You will transcend all your sorrows. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. You're getting it? Okay. So many people think that, in Buddhism everything is impermanent. In Buddhism everything is suffering. That's not true. Only composite things are impermanent, not non-composite phenomena. Only contaminated things are suffering nature. Not everything is suffering nature. You're getting it? Some people, they're too naive to say that in Buddhism everything is suffering. The Buddha said everything is suffering. No, Buddha taught the fourth seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Let's not forget it. The Buddha taught the peace, absolute peace. Okay, I will stop here. Okay, one or two questions if you have. Okay, hands up if you have questions. They say, I don't see Nicola's face, right? Okay, Jacob.
Just going back to a point you said about the eyes are too weak. The eyes are too weak to see like the ultimate nature.
Yes.
Phenomena. Do you mean the eye organ or the eye consciousness?
Okay. For you, eye consciousness. Yes. So?
No, I was just wondering because I've heard stories of like highly realized yogis who can see the subtle changes.
It's a mental consciousness. Okay. One, don't trust the stories easily. Don't trust the stories easily. You're getting it? Leave the story, listen to the story, enjoy the story, leave it there. Don't take it too seriously. You getting it? What you should be taking seriously is all composite things are impermanent. All contaminant things are self in nature. If it's in nature, emptiness, self, transcending source, nirvana. These take it seriously. Stories don't take too seriously. You getting it? Stories, claims, don't take them seriously. Listen, enjoy, and forget. You getting it? Okay, Kamalji.
Is the Dhamma gross or subtle, or is it permanent or opposite?
Okay, good question. Dharma, is it the gross impermanence or subtle impermanent? Dharma. So dharma has many connotations. Dharma, in one sense, it simply means phenomena. Phenomena in general is permanent, but it's a little technical. So that we have to study in the group discussion. And with the group discussion, there are many of them. There are many of them who are from NTC1. Laura is there, Nicola is there. There are many of you here. I can see many of them here, right? Yeah, and Jill is here, and there are many of them. There are many of them there. So the Jane also. So you try to discuss with them, and they will help you. Okay, but if you're not too happy with whatever answer that you get from the group discussion, bring them up in the class. I'll be happy to address. Okay, dharma in general. Now dharma in the form of spirituality. Dharma in the form of phenomena. That is permanent. Permanent doesn't mean lasting forever. So for this we have to study. Now the dharma in the form of, let's say, Buddha dharma, or the dharma in the form of spirituality. That dharma, within that again there are two classes. One is the dharma in the form of spiritual realizations. Other one is the state of cessation. Cessation suffering and the realization which brings the cessation. These two. So the realization in that context, it is impermanent. It's impermanent, and for ordinary people like us, it is grossly impermanent. And when you become enlightened, fully enlightened, then it becomes lasting impermanent. Subtle impermanent. It involves only subtle impermanence. Dharma in the form of cessation of your miseries. That is permanent in nature. Okay. Any more questions? Yes.
Earlier when you told me the 5 points and you were saying that the fifth point has to do with exaggerating the object. Is that what you mean? We exaggerate the object by seeing it as solid, but it's actually not solid?
Good question. The 5 points. The samsara, contaminant karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance. Of the 5, the 5th one, self-grasping ignorance, what I said is that is exaggerating the basic the object rather than the quality of the object. Doesn't mean that to exaggerate the object to be solid and so forth. Is that what I mean by exaggerating object? This is your question?
Right, because like right now you've been talking about like everything emptiness and selflessness, so is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yes, this is what I meant. And of course it has many layers, right? I don't want to confuse you at the moment. So seeing that things are seen as objectively real from the object, while in actuality they're all coming from your mind, right? And how do you know that? That you have to study systematically. Any more questions? Okay, Nicola.
I have a small confusion with gross impermanence. If we think of phenomena, the phenomenon is permanent, but that can come to an end. For example, let's say the absence of a certain person is all. When the person comes, that phenomenon comes to an end. So can you say that it's grossly impermanent?
No. Grossly impermanent, how did I define it? Impermanent phenomena whose continuum ceases. Stick to the definition, it will solve the problem. Good. Okay. Taruna. Yes.
This is death impermanent.
Death. Okay. Dying and death, these two are different. So for ordinary people, dying is referred to as death. Dying. The process of dying. Process of dying, that is impermanent. But death per se, Death per se is the cessation. Cessation of the continuum of the person. Cessation of continuum of any phenomena is a permanent phenomena. Permanent doesn't mean that you died, no, finished now. It's permanent. This is not the meaning. The permanence, it has a very different connotation. Like what Nicola said, that permanent means something which does not involve a substance. But this little technical, you discuss in the group discussions, and if you want more clarification, I'll be happy to address this. Okay, more questions over there.
Can I speak in Tibetan? 정말 impermanent 나오라. 아니 어디 아주 기생어준 시선아 아니 가래 아주 개화지키 되어 나오라. 어디 permanent impermanent.
Oh, okay. If you talk of all composite things to be impermanent, then when we die, the merit, the virtues that we accumulate in this life, that is something that we carry to the next life. So, does it entail that this virtue that we accumulate in this life, does it entail that it is also impermanent? Will it disappear or not? So, the virtue that we accumulated, whose results are yet to be ripened, this virtue is impermanent, but it will not disappear unless until it ripens its result. It is impermanent, but still it will go. It doesn't mean that impermanence doesn't mean that it will stop completely. It continues in the form of changing. Because it continues in the form of changing, it's still impermanent, still it is continuing. For example, the river. River, moment by moment it is changing, the river. But this stream, continuum is there. So likewise, our virtues, our virtue that you gathered, this is like the stream of water. It flows, but within that you see things are changing. But as overall, it is flowing as a virtue to the next life. Good? Laura?
Yes, all the meditations and meditation on impermanence is supreme, except for the
Meditation on impermanence.
impermanence, yes.
Yes.
The meditation on emptiness is what removes the afflictive obscurations. So, how do we resolve that?
Okay. Okay. Anyone who can help me? Anyone who hands? Okay, how many you can help me? You're going to help me or you are going to harm me? Okay, Jacob, tell me.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, because it's quite limited experience. But I think once you realise impermanence, doesn't that lead on to realising emptiness?
So which is more important? Which is supreme? Emptiness or impermanence?
I'd say impermanence, because if it calls to realising emptiness, isn't realising emptiness the result of realising impermanence?
Okay, Laura, you happy? Okay, here, Sanamla. Mike.
Impermanence gives us a sense of urgency, and then you go on and you would want to study more about emptiness. It gives us higher sense of urgency.
Okay, sense of urgency is given to us by the impermanence. Without that sense of urgency, the whole process is very slow and it may not really progress too much. Sense of urgency is one supreme, which makes everything move so fast and effective. So I think Jacob's answer is much more the same as Sunla. Same? Pretty much. Yes. Okay, the gentleman over there.
So, Dharma, we studied that there is another category of impermanent phenomena where the continuum can be forcefully broken, right? For example, afflictions, anger, and attachment. It falls in the third category of impermanent phenomena, where you can actually break the continuum forcefully. So I think if you break the continuum of anger and attachment, slowly you are, probably approaching emptiness of person. You're slowly, you're slowly getting closer to nirvana. I guess.
Okay,
Forcefully break the afflictions.
your name? Your name? Huh?
A-R-K-A, Arka.
Arka, yes. Okay. So I can see that this there is the flavor of NDC, right? Okay, beautiful answers coming. Okay, the gentleman here, blue shirt. Thank you, Arka.
The question I would ask is, can you grasp something that's always changing?
If you can,
If something is always changing,
yes,
can you actually grasp it? No.
no.
It's
So
always changing.
yes,
So this non-grasping
yes.
is the basis for emptiness, for realizing emptiness. So if you do meditations on impermanence, you're doing meditations that everything is always changing.
No.
All composite from
All composite things. Yes,
always changing.
yes, yes.
So you can grasp it, and like this, the muscle that you have of grasping, this habituation that we have of grasping things, is automatically weakened.
No, the point is, the question is pretty straightforward. Yes, meditation impermanence is very good.
Yeah.
It lets us let go of the grasping.
Yeah.
Meditation emptiness. Without that, no matter how much you meditate on impermanence, it will never liberate you.
No, but it builds this muscle, right?
No, that's
And you need the muscle of non-grasping to realize emptiness. Like when I do my meditations on emptiness, it's continuous meditations on non-grasping things.
Okay,
How things are.
so non-grasping. Does it mean the meditation emptiness?
This is what I learned from Zopa when I went to Lama Zopa when I went to Kopan last year.
Okay, so don't quote Lama Zopa Rinpoche. You getting it right? Don't quote. You quote him only if you are very confident in your understanding.
Yeah, well, maybe you can enlighten me on what I'm missing, because when I'm doing the meditations on impermanence,
Okay, so
these are meditations everything is changing.
what's your name?
Rishi.
Okay, what Rishi is saying is very important. You getting it? Say, you meditate on impermanence, it will let go. It will let go of our grasping. Yes, but grasping has many layers. Grasping has many layers. Say, for example, say, I let you, Rishi, I can see that your openness is there. This is so important. And what you said, the statement that you made is very important. Let go of the grasping. Letting go of the grasping, there are so many layers. Within that, there are so many layers. To give you an example, say, if you meditate on impermanence a lot, then you can, even in dream, you will dream. Sometimes you can dream of meditating on impermanence. Within the dream, then you let go. Okay, for example, say, okay, so let's say that I'm so attached to one particular object. Right? It's not because it's so expensive, not because anything, out of utility. So I'm somebody, what my past life is, I'm not too sure. You getting it? But from there, I can get some indications, like, say, I'm more interested in something which is so compact with the multiple utilities, right? So even if say that one and another thing like the solid gold, I would rather go for this compact thing. It can be very cheap, but it can do a lot of it has a lot of functions. I'm so attached to this. So I meditate impermanence of this, and then gradually I let go of this. Right? I let go of this. Yes, it does happen. It does happen. For example, like say maybe in my past, sometimes I jokingly tell people that in my past, if there's any labyrinth, I'm very sorry. I don't mean to demean you. I'm a very typical. In my past life, maybe I'm a very typical labyrinth who takes all the book, who never reads book. Right? So in this life, since my childhood, so to get a possession of any book, it gives me incredible feeling of possession. I have something is with me, the book. Anything else is fine. The book is something so special. But I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to read. So the point is that these things do happen. And then let's say that in the dream I meditated on emptiness, in the impermanence. And then last year what happened with the termite? I have huge collection of books. Huge collection of books. But the last like 30 years of collection, many of them destroyed by the termite. And then I felt this is impermanence. I should not be attached to the books also. This was the huge lesson for me, real life lesson, impermanence. Then I thought, okay, whatever I learned, this is what I'm going to carry to my next life. Not the books, right? It became very clear. Okay, so now let's say, in my dream, in your dream, you meditate the impermanence of the books, and then you even let go of the books. Learn from the books, don't be attached to the books, let go of the books. Okay, so grasping at the book stops on one level, but do you still or not grasp at even these books that I am letting go, they are real? Yes, no, in the dream.
I think that the way that you describe grasping is the physical book on attachment, and where I'm thinking is you're grasping that's labeled a book.
No, forget.
This label that you had, that this is a book.
Okay.
This is the thing. So
Okay.
where I'm coming from is that label.
Okay.
You're grasping.
Look.
It's always changing.
Okay. Look. Wait.
It's an illusion.
Wait.
Yeah.
So all composite things are impermanent.
Yeah.
Everything is nature, empty, and selflessness. Which comes first?
Well, both are actually true.
No. I'm not. No.
If you build your, I guess,
If this is your habit, you will never grow. Somebody asks you a question, enter it in the question,
yeah.
give the answer, make it straight. You getting it? Which comes first? If you want to follow the teachings of Buddha, you have to follow the teachings of Buddha in the sequence. You getting it? You cannot jump like this. So I'm saying, which...
I'm not following where I'm jumping.
No. Which comes first? This is my question.
Yeah.
Of the four seals, which comes first, which comes third?
Clearly, impermanence comes before.
Good. So impermanence, there are two kinds. You getting it? You acknowledge that already. Impermanence of the book and impermanence of the labels.
Yes.
You getting it?
Yeah.
The two. The first one is with the impermanence per se, not with the emptiness. You getting it?
Yes, but the way that
This can happen.
is grasping,
You can go there with the first understanding. Her question is not about, not about what you are saying. Her question, we have to give the answer to her question, not to your question. Her question is, say, the Buddha taught that the meditation of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is supreme. Buddha did not say meditation of the impermanence of the label is the supreme. You getting it?
oh, I agree.
Listen.
Yeah.
One.
Okay.
Then number two, what she learned is that of all the meditations, meditation on emptiness is the only liberating path. You're getting it? On the one hand, the Buddha taught meditation of impermanence is the supreme. On the other hand, Buddha himself taught that meditation on emptiness is the only liberating path. So how do you reconcile these two, this question? You're getting it? Say, of the two, meditation on emptiness is what you really need as a weapon to cut the destructive emotions. So why the Buddha taught that a meditation on impermanence is the supreme? This is a question, not a question. You're getting it? And you are talking about the impermanence of the grasping, impermanence of the labels, and so forth. You are mixing with the impermanence and the emptiness. In fact, to be very honest, when you go into meditation emptiness, impermanence is totally irrelevant. You're getting it? It's not required. It's not required. That is as a preliminary practice, not as the meditation on emptiness.
Okay,
You're getting
that's
it?
where I'm confused is that when we're talking about impermanence, it's understanding that everything is, all kinds of things.
Not everything.
Yeah, all kinds of things are changing.
Yes.
And if something is changing, right, we're trying to do, then can you really grasp that thing? You can't really grasp it.
Okay, so let's say the book is changing.
Yeah.
You're getting it? So I give you the example. Don't try to think of your own things when I'm talking. When I'm talking, listen to what I'm saying. I already give you the example. Example is a very powerful example that I give you. Say, including my attachment to the books. You getting it? Say, when I see the traumas attack the books, I let it go. Okay, now I have to learn from the books, but don't be attached to the books. Grasping the book disappears. You getting it? So when I see the impermanence of the book, grasping dissolves. As you said, I agree. Now what I shifted this to the dream. In the dream, I meditate on the impermanence of the book. You're getting it? With this in the dream, my grasping at the book dissolves. Listen. You're getting it? Don't think of the next question. Think of, listen to what I'm saying. So I said that grasping, there are so many layers. One is grasping the book on that level. Now in the dream, you see that the grasping of the book dissolves. Okay, somebody takes away the book is damaged by the termite. Okay, this is impermanent, I know this, I don't have grasping. But I still have the grasping that what is happening is real, it's not a dream. This is another layer of grasping. You're getting it? So you let go of the grasping by understanding impermanence, but you still could not identify, forget about letting go of the subtle level of the grasping. You're getting it?
Yeah.
That is yet to be let go of. Simply, in other words, simply by understanding impermanence does not mean that all degrees of grasping will be stopped.
I agree, but you've been practicing by going through the impermanence, this process, you're practicing like basically a mental faculty of non-grasping, right?
Non-grasping on one level, not the subtle one.
You work on one level, and you build your capacity on one level, and then you can work at a deeper level, and a deeper level. And so for me, obviously it's not resonating with maybe you or other people. This is, for my understanding, why Buddha probably said impermanence is supreme, because this is how you can develop the faculty of non-grasping.
Okay.
As you develop that faculty, you can apply it in something that's much more, deep, difficult.
Okay, so this is, okay, listen. So in a way what you are saying is that this is required as the stepping stone for the realization of the emptiness. This is what you're saying?
Yes, because of the non.
No, just say yes, no.
Well, it's good to know why, right?
No, that will come later. Okay, so that is like a stepping stone. If there's a stepping stone, because of which if you say it is supreme, the Buddha should say the second one, second seal. What's second seal?
All
contaminated things are suffering nature. Even the second seal is also the stepping stone to the third. Buddha should equally say that the second one is also the supreme for all the meditation. Buddha did not say this. You getting it? Because with the first, you move to the second. With the second, you move to the third. You cannot jump to third directly. You're getting it? So therefore, why the Buddha taught the only to the first one, not to the second? You're getting it? So these are the intellectual exercises. These are things where only when you understand these concepts well, and then let others come up with the questions, let others come with their responses, and then see if it makes sense. If it makes sense, accept it. You're getting it? So two of them, in a way, what they're saying is that meditation impermanence, it creates a sense of urgency. With the sense of urgency, then it will make the practice move so fast. This is the point. You're getting it? Okay. But this is a very serious question. The question is that with the meditation of impermanence, right, the Buddha praised that as the supreme of meditation. Meditation on emptiness is praised for being the only liberating path. You are getting it? So, the question is, how do you reconcile the two? What is liberating path should be seen as the supreme. And Buddha did not say that the meditation in emptiness is the supreme. The Buddha taught the meditation impermanence is supreme. You getting it? Okay, so Tom, here, next to you.
I've had it said before that sometimes Buddhist statements are divided into sort of like the kind of definitive or authoritative
And interpretable.
and then those that are interpretive, which, and the latter category would be things that he said basically skillful means they fit the context and the right thing to say for that person at that level. And so perhaps we could say that for a common audience, it's much more accessible to understand impermanence, and so he wants to inspire people to undertake that meditation, whereas the teachings of emptiness are higher.
Okay, Tom, Tom, would you, Tom, do you mean to say that Buddha's teachings, there are two? One is definitive teaching, and one is the interpretable teaching. And the interpretable teachings, they are more like a skillful means to take to the definitive. So perhaps for ordinary people like us, as the Buddha taught, that the first one, that all composite things impermanent, that is supreme to inspire us. It may not be definitive teaching, it can be interpretative teaching. Is what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So what I would suggest is that let's not forget the answers given. You're getting it? And then practice it. Practice impermanence. What is the outcome? Without impermanence, still you can study emptiness. You can get good experience of emptiness. And then practice with impermanence, meditation. What's the effect that you feel? The value that we feel of the wisdom of emptiness. Versus without meditation impermanence, the value that you feel of the emptiness, wisdom of emptiness is very different. You getting it? Qualitatively different. So sense of urgency, that is so important. Supreme means supreme has many connotations. Supreme to make make your path extremely effective. Supreme in the sense that if you have this, this will liberate you. If you don't have this, this will not liberate you. Supreme has many connotations. Connotation in terms of the effectiveness. For the effectiveness, this is supreme. Perfect. Impermanence. Just practice it and you'll feel that. You'll feel the value of the meditation of emptiness is extremely great. You'll feel that with the impermanence meditation. Without impermanence meditation, you see this is very profound. But then the sense of value will not be as much as how you would otherwise feel with the impermanence meditation. Okay, so many of these things, you think about it, and then don't just leave it on your own supposition. You're getting it? Or if you actually seen in standard books, that's one story. Standard books, you're getting it? And if you hear somebody else said it, you check if you heard it properly. Generally, don't quote somebody. What the person taught you, try to be convinced. This is what I'm emphasizing here all the time. So if possible, when you go out, don't quote me. Usually, when I say that, for example, if you say that, oh yeah, you said that the Buddha taught everything is impermanent, I will say, don't leave this room till you're able to say all composite things is impermanent. Don't leave this room. Otherwise, you'll quote somebody, to others that in Buddhism everything is impermanent. Who taught you this? I learned from Thosamling. Who's that teacher? Geshe Dorje Damdul. I never said it. You are getting it? You are quoting me wrong. So, particularly these things, when you learn from a teacher, don't quote. Don't quote, get conviction yourself. Conviction yourself, and you say that this reality, that all composite is impermanent. Don't just say it directly rather than saying that Dorji said it. You're getting it? That everything is composite phenomenon. Be confident. No need to quote somebody. You're getting it? Okay. There are some concepts which we cannot really experience at this moment. There are some very profound experiences. And so from this point of view, the Western or the Western or the modern PhD programs, thesis writings, the system is so good. You can quote, but make sure that the source is cited. People will check how accurate is your quotation. You getting it? So to check whether you quote it correctly or not is very important. So therefore, the best thing which you can easily understand, don't quote. Just confidently say this. And if it's wrong, somebody will correct you. Correct? If somebody corrects you, again, don't follow blindly, even the second person, right? Second person correcting me with what I thought I learned from this teacher, but correcting me, okay, whether his the version is correct or not. Again, you double check it yourself. No need to follow blindly. Any more pressing questions? Okay, last question here, Carolina.
I'll just say it loudly. So you said you're emphasizing the word that we have to say not everything, but all composite things. So
It's not me, it's a reality.
so is there anything that's not composite?
This is a good question. So this is something which you can easily discuss with the Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course students here. You can easily discuss in the group, and if you're still not to, of course, these are not something that we can expect to understand in one group discussion, but discuss more. And if you need it, I'll be happy to explain this in class also. Yeah. Okay, good. We'll stop here. Page 52, I think. 52. Okay, dedication prayer. I dedicate the merit thus gathered to fresh realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, Boddhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast is space that I've amassed from working with the effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Deata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Okay, 3 prostrations.